Welcome to Midnight Tales. Here you will discover new stories, profound lessons, and fantastic adventures. Remember to support us by subscribing to the channel and activating the notification bell. Now, make yourself comfortable, close your eyes. Let's begin the journey. Chapter 13, The Voice of the Horizon. The day dawned with a different light than usual, no longer soft as in previous days, but a little more golden, as if the sun had decided to tell a story too. Nikos woke up slowly with a new feeling in his chest, a quiet curiosity, like a thin thread pulling him outward. It wasn't restlessness, it was an invitation. When he went outside, he found his grandfather Philon standing near the cliff. He wasn't sitting, as he often did. He was standing, gazing at the horizon, motionless like a statue observing the future. "Today, the horizon wants to talk to you," he said without turning around. Nikos remained silent for a moment. The horizon had always been part of his life, a thin line dividing the sky from the sea, a distant promise, a boundary he had never really felt the need to cross. He approached slowly, feeling the warm rock beneath his feet. "Does the horizon speak?" he asked. "Yes," replied his grandfather, "but not with words. The horizon speaks with what is missing." The boy didn't quite understand, but he sat down next to Philon, letting the silence do its work. The sea that morning was as calm as a peaceful thought. The waves were so slow that they seemed to breathe rather than move. The sky stretched above them in an endless blue. "Nikos," Philon said after a long moment, "you have learned to listen to the wind, the water, the stone, the weather. But you have not yet listened to what awaits you." "What awaits me?" asked the boy. Philon pointed to the thin line between sky and sea. "Possibility." Nikos breathed in slowly. Possibility, a word that opened everything without saying anything. "Many," continued his grandfather, "stare at the horizon thinking it is a limit. But the ancient philosophers said that the horizon is not where the world ends. It is where the world prepares to continue." The morning breeze caressed them both, slow and respectful. "But I've never left the island," said Nikos. "You don't have to leave to listen to the horizon," replied Philon. "You just have to recognize that there is something beyond what you know. Something you haven't encountered yet, but that one day you might want to encounter." Nikos remained silent. Below him, the sea sent its constant rhythm. In front of him, the sky opened like an infinite door. For the first time, he did not feel the horizon as a distant line. He felt it as a presence. "And what should I do with this possibility?" asked Nikos. His grandfather smiled, a slow smile full of ancient kindness. "Nothing. Not now. Possibility is not a duty. It is a seed. It stays there until you want to see it grow." A small wave broke on the rock below them, louder than the others, like a signal. It did not disturb the quiet. It completed it. "Every human being," said Philon, "has a horizon within them. Sometimes it widens, other times it narrows. But it is always there, ready to show you that you are not only made of what you already know, but also of what you can become." Nikos felt a slight shiver run through him. It wasn't cold, it was openness. He looked at his grandfather. "Did you have a horizon too when you were young?" Philon was silent for a moment. Then he replied in a low voice, "Yes, and one day I followed it. But that's another story, a story I'll tell you when you're ready." Nikos didn't insist. There was no need. He had learned that there are stories that can be heard right away, and stories that need to mature like the fruit of a tree. The horizon seemed closer now, almost like a place not far away, but within reach. "Today," said Philon, "your lesson is this. The horizon does not ask to be reached. It only asks to be recognized." They remained seated for a while longer, letting the calm of the sea enter their breaths. Nikos felt that something new had been added within him, a possibility that had no form, but already had space. When they got up to return, Nikos looked at the horizon one last time, and for the first time in his life, it smiled at him. Chapter 14. The Whisper of the Luminous Night. That evening, the island of Kallipolis was preparing for a different kind of silence. Not the silence of sleep, nor that of sunset. A silence that was alive, as if the night had something to share. Nikos left his house when the sky had already turned dark blue. The sea seemed to have turned off its voice, leaving only a sweet echo in the air, like a memory of water. Philon was waiting for him near the old olive tree, with an unlit lamp in his hand. "Tonight," he said in a solemn but gentle tone, "we will listen to what can only be heard when the light retreats." Nikos approached slowly. "Does the night speak?" "The night does not speak like the day," replied his grandfather. "It does not show, it suggests, it does not illuminate, it hints." And he lit the lamp. The flame was small and flickering, but it was enough to draw a circle of light around them. They walked along a path that Nikos knew well, but which, under that fragile light, seemed different. The trees were just soft shadows. The stones glistened faintly, as if they held tiny fragments of the moon. They came to a small clearing. Not just any clearing. It was the highest point on the island, but not the most frequented. From there, the night seemed closer, more present, like a blanket embracing everything. Philon placed the lamp on the ground. Its light flickered but did not go out. "Nikos, look at the sky." The boy looked up. There were more stars than usual. Some shone like nails of light, others like breaths. They seemed arranged in an order he had never seen before, as if that night they had decided to move closer together. "What should I listen to?" he asked softly. His grandfather sat down, inviting him to do the same. "Listen to what you don't understand." The sentence was simple, but it hung in the air with the sweet weight of important revelations. "The ancient philosophers," Philon continued, "said that mystery is not something to be solved. It is something to be honored. The night exists to remind us that we cannot understand everything, and that's okay." Nikos breathed slowly. He felt his body light, his mind quiet, as if he were waiting for something that would have no form. "Every day you learn something that explains the world," said his grandfather. "But the night serves to teach you what the world does not explain." A long silence fell between them, a deep, velvety silence that seemed to count the stars one by one. Then Nikos heard a whisper. It wasn't a sound. It wasn't even a thought. It was an impression, like the light touch of a finger on his shoulder. "You don't have to know everything to be ready." He didn't understand where it came from. Perhaps from the night. Perhaps from within himself. Perhaps from both. "Grandfather," he said in a barely audible voice, "is it possible that the night is saying something to me too?" Philon smiled. "The night speaks only to those who have learned to listen. And you, Nikos, you are learning." The flame of the lamp flickered a little more strongly, as if in agreement. "There's a reason," his grandfather continued, "why I brought you here. We're almost at the end of our journey together." The boy felt a sweet weight in his chest. Not fear, not sadness, something like a premonition. "Will it end?" he asked softly. "Nothing really ends," replied Philon, "but some things change form." The night seemed brighter now. It was as if every star had lit up a little memory in the sky. "Today's lesson is this, Nikos. Mystery should not be solved. It should be cherished, because what you don't know is what allows you to grow." They remained seated there for a long time under the slowly breathing sky. Every now and then a star would move, as slow as a thought, choosing the right moment to be noticed. When they got up to leave, the light cast a calmer, more stable glow. And Nikos understood that that night he had not answered him, but had opened a door for him, a door that he would soon walk through. Chapter 15. The Wind That Brings Slow Change. The following morning dawned with a different wind. It wasn't strong, it wasn't fast, it was a new wind. The kind that doesn't come often, and when it does, it seems to want to say something without using words. Nikos opened his eyes and immediately sensed that the day had a sweet weight, like a ripe fruit about to fall from the branch. A day that is not just any day. When he went outside, he found his grandfather, Philon, sitting on the large flat rock, as he had done at the beginning of their journey together. The same position, the same calm, but in his gaze, there was something more. A gentle depth, like a lake that has seen a lot and doesn't need to say it. "Sit next to me, Nikos," said his grandfather in a voice that the wind seemed to want to accompany. The boy sat down, feeling the warm rock beneath him. The sea in front of them moved with long, slow waves, as if it wanted to synchronize with their breathing. "Today," said Philon, "the wind will teach you something that no other element can teach." Nikos closed his eyes for a moment, letting the air brush his face. The wind was not cold, it was not hot, it was aware, as if it knew where to go. "You know," said his grandfather, continuing to gaze at the horizon, "the wind is the first to know when something is about to change." The boy remained silent. There was something in those words that slipped inside him with a sweet and slightly melancholic feeling, but not sad, just true. "The wind," continued Philon, "takes away what is light and leaves what is strong, and when it passes, we often don't notice it right away. We only realize the change when everything is already clearer." Nikos breathed in slowly. He noticed that the wind was carrying distant scents, damp grass, stone, salt, and something else. A smell that seemed familiar, but he couldn't recognize it. "Grandfather," he said softly, "what is changing?" Philon smiled slightly, a smile that was not mysterious, but tender. "Your journey is maturing, and when a journey matures, it cannot remain the same." A long silence fell between them, a silence that was not heavy, but fulfilling. Then Philon spoke again, slowly. "Do you remember all the lessons you have learned? The calm of the sea, the patience of stones, the voice of time, the possibility of the horizon, the mystery of the night?" Nikos nodded. "All this is not what I taught you," said his grandfather. "It is what you learned. I only accompanied you as you discovered it." The wind picked up for a moment, lifting Nikos's hair slightly. The boy felt it like a friendly hand touching his shoulder. "The wind," said Philon, "takes away what is no longer needed and leaves room for something new. Nikos looked down. He felt a tremor inside him, but not of fear. It was like a door slowly opening. "Grandfather, are we coming to the end of our journey?" he asked, almost in a whisper. Philon looked at him. His eyes were filled with immense gentleness, as if they contained all the calm of the island. "We are coming to a passage," he replied. "Not an end. Nothing really ends, remember? It changes form, like the wind." Nikos took a deep breath. The wind passed by him, light, yet full, as if it were saying goodbye. "There is one thing," said his grandfather slowly, "that every person must understand before they can continue on their journey. That we don't grow up to leave something behind, but to become capable of carrying more with us." The boy stared at the horizon. The wind continued to blow patiently. It was in no hurry. It seemed to be waiting for the right moment. "Tomorrow," said Philon, rising slowly, "I will show you the last lesson, the one that unites all the others." Nikos rose too. The wind calmed down as if it had been listening. As they walked back home, the path seemed more familiar and at the same time more profound, as if it too had something to say. And Nikos understood that the wind had brought about a change, subtle, delicate, but real. Something was brewing, something that wasn't scary, something that was very similar to a painting that was about to be completed. Chapter 16. The Circle That Remains Open. The following morning dawned with an extraordinarily clear light, a light that did not hurt the eyes but welcomed them. The air was still, as if all of Callipolis had decided to breathe slowly so as not to disturb what was about to happen. Nikos woke up earlier than usual. He didn't know why. It was as if his body had heard a silent call, a gentle invitation. When he went outside, he found his grandfather, Philon, standing next to the large flat stone. The same place where it all began, the same sea, the same light wind, and yet everything seemed different, as if the world were the same, but Nikos had changed enough to see it with new eyes. Philon motioned for him to come closer. "Today, Nikos, our journey reaches its simplest point, and for this reason, the most important." The boy sat down next to him without speaking. The waves moved slowly, one after the other, as if repeating an ancient prayer. "You have learned from the sea," said his grandfather. "You have learned from the water, from the stones, from time, from the night, from the horizon, and finally, from the wind." Nikos nodded slowly. Each element was still within him, not as concepts, but as calm presences. "Today," continued Philon, "you will not learn from something outside yourself. Today you will learn from what is inside you." The boy looked down. "What should I do?" His grandfather smiled. "Nothing. Just listen." The sea breathed. The wind passed over their faces like a gentle hand. The light seemed woven especially for that moment. "All the lessons you have learned," said Philon, "lead to one. Wisdom does not come from what you observe, but from how you observe it." Nikos remained motionless. The phrase entered him like clean water. "Many spend their lives looking for answers in the world," continued his grandfather. "But the ancient philosophers said, 'Know yourself, and you will know the universe.'" The breeze carried the scent of olive trees, a familiar scent, but that morning it seemed to have an added meaning. Philon turned to the boy. His eyes were bright, deep, alive. There was no sadness. There was completeness. "Nikos, you didn't walk with me to learn how to look at the world. You walked with me to learn how to look inside yourself." And now, you know how to do it." The boy breathed in slowly. He felt a new sweetness in his chest, similar to the feeling that comes when you understand something that doesn't need to be explained. "Grandfather, what about you?" he asked. "Do you still have things to teach me?" Philon placed a hand on his shoulder, a warm, strong, serene hand. "No, Nikos. No more lessons. From now on, you will teach yourself." The wind stopped blowing for a moment. The sea seemed to hold its breath. Even the olive trees stood still, as if everything wanted to remember that moment. "Does that mean our journey together is over?" Nikos asked in a low voice. "No," Philon replied softly. "It means it's changing shape, like water when it becomes a wave, like the wind when it changes direction, like the night when it gives way to dawn." The boy felt his eyes moisten, but not with sadness, with gratitude. Philon stood up slowly, like someone who knows that every gesture matters. "Come," he said. "There's one last place I want to take you." They walked along a short path to a small hill. From there, they could see the whole island, the fields, the olive trees, the rocks, the beach, the white houses, everything that had accompanied Nikos's journey. "Look," said his grandfather, "everything you have learned is there. Every lesson lives in what you see." Nikos looked at the island and felt a feeling grow inside him, a deep and luminous calm, a calm that did not need to be sought. It was simply there. "From today," said Philon, "you will no longer walk to learn. You will walk to live, and every step you take will be yours, yours alone." The boy turned toward the sea, toward the wind, toward the horizon, and he understood. He understood that everything he had learned was already within him, that nothing else was needed, that the journey did not end. It continued in another form. Philon placed a hand on his back with infinite gentleness. "Wisdom is not a destination, Nikos. It is a circle, and you have learned to walk within it." They stayed together until the sun rose higher. Then they returned home without haste, step by step, in the perfect silence of a day that felt complete. And as they walked, Nikos heard something he had never heard so clearly before. His inner voice, calm, solid, alive. It was a sign that the circle was open, and that the journey had, in fact, only just begun. That's all for today's story. If you enjoyed it and would like to hear more, please like and subscribe to the channel. Now, take a deep breath and relax. Good night.